Okay, so all the conference semifinal matchup is now over. We now know who exactly is the 4 team that's going to be in this year edition of MLS Conference Final. And obviously the conference final first leg is not until 2 weeks after the conference semifinal match has played, because we have that international break. And there's obviously going to be a lot of kind of discussion and debate of whether or not if it's a great idea for the MLS playoffs to have an international break in between the playoffs and how it creates a little bit of a disadvantage. But you know, that's another discussion for another day. Right now, we're going to be talking about all 3 of these games, and the reason why I'm talking about all 3 of these games, and you wonder, where's the Seattle versus Portland game? I did that already. And by the way, I got a lot of views from that video, and a couple of you even commented in the video, so thank you for that. Usually I don't get a lot of comments from this video, and whenever there are comments in the comment section, I will always do my best to reply them. And I'm pretty sure there's definitely going to be some comments in this video. Certainly for angry Atlanta fans that is going to really ridicule me about how they had no chance of beating NYCFC, but we'll get to that one when we talk about this game. First of all, let's talk about the Sporting KC versus RSL game, because yeah, this was a crazy one, and certainly the scoreline implicated that there's a lot of things happen in this game, and the scoreline kind of also implicate the fact that Sporting KC kind of dominate throughout the game, which they did. But if you're a Sporting KC fan, and if you're anybody that watched this game, the last 10 minutes must be probably the most nerve-wracking minutes you have ever suffered throughout this season. And really, the last 10 minutes kind of reminds you of the previous Sporting KC team, of how they always find a way to blow it at the end. And you know, I gotta say, if you're a Sporting KC fan and you're able to get by that game, I congratulate you, because imagine if I was in that situation of Sporting KC just barely hanging on, and having RSL just attacking waves after waves and just trying to put that third crucial goal, which at that point if RSL does get that third crucial goal, it would be 3-3, which means that RSL would be moving on into the next round because they have more away goals than Sporting KC has. But in all senses, when we talk about this game, like I said, they pretty much dominate the entire part of the game that is Sporting KC. I mean, for the first 15 or 20 minutes, RSL have absolutely no answer in terms of how to deal with this Sporting KC press. I mean, this press was absolutely unrelentless, and the 2 goals that Rubio and Shaoui scored were all because of the press, and all because RSL just gave the ball away in their own half, and Sporting KC immediately capitalized whenever they gave the ball away on the press. And you could have argued maybe Sporting KC would have been 3 or 4-0 up, because they also had a couple of chances that they missed when they were pressing RSL, and RSL was really just very sloppy in terms of holding on position. And then in the beginning of the second half, it was sort of the same story. I mean, RSL just did not look like RSL was going to get anything of it. It looks like Sporting KC was just going to roll past RSL in this second leg. But out of the blue, Sarcedo, of course, scored a goal in the 60th minute, pretty much a goal against the run of play. And then RSL kind of looked a little bit disjointed after that goal, and RSL really started to try to get that equalizer in this game so that they can go on to the conference final on away goals. But unfortunately, they gave away a penalty, and I gotta put this as a PK, because you know, Ilie, whenever he scored, it's usually a penalty. And in fact, all 4 of his goal this season, or 5 of his goal, he scored 4 in the regular season, are all from the spot, if I'm not mistaken. But you know, They gave away a very poor penalty here to Sporting KC, and then Ilya, of course, puts that one away. And you thought, at that point, you think, okay, yep, it's game over. Sporting KC is just going to wrap this up. They're just going to cruise to victory. You know, they kind of had a little bit of a scare with Saucedo scoring the goal. But yeah, it is going to be just clear sailing to the conference final for Sporting KC after that penalty. Oh no, that is exactly not what it happened. Damar Krylak scored a goal in the 72nd minute from a header to make it 3-2, and then from then on, really just all hell just broke loose for Sporting KC. Like, they were, after when Krylak scored this goal, they were clearly disjointed. The momentum that they had throughout the whole game just pretty much completely destroyed after that goal, and it was Sporting KC the one that were looking very sloppy and giving the ball in their own half, and RSL had so many chances in the last 10 minutes to put the ball into the back of the net, including just a scramble right around the 84th minute when you thought that there was like 4 or 5 RSL players that could have just put the ball into the back of the net off of a scramble. Probably the best chance was Nick Beasler, who was the last one that got off the touch off of that scramble, and you know, he probably should have just hit it first time instead of taking a dribble and then hit it into the side netting. But that was really just probably the best opportunity for RSL to get the equalizer and potentially move on into the conference final on a away leg. But unfortunately, RSL, with all that effort of trying to get that goal, you know, as stoppage time come, and they had 7 minutes of stoppage time, and I thought, yeah, there is no way Sporting KC is going to survive this after what I'm seeing with RSL in the last 10 minutes. Well, RSL kind of got exhausted from that, and Sporting KC probably did something in stoppage time that they should have done after they went up 3-1. And that is just hold on to the ball and just don't take a lot of risks. I mean, I don't understand why did Sporting KC decided to keep just playing those risky kind of ball, just trying to maybe get another goal. You don't need another goal. You're 3-1 up. You have a 2-goal advantage. There is no point for them to do that. And you know, they definitely finally got that memo in stoppage time by holding the ball. And then, of course, Shaarawy basically pretty much shut the door for RSL with a goal after Brooks Lennon just made a terrible kind of giveaway in the pass. I mean, I think in that sequence when Shaarawy scored the goal, you could kind of argue the fact that Nick Rimaldo should have probably come out a little bit earlier, and Rimaldo obviously did not have a very good game in this match. So is Tim Melia in this game too. I mean, both goalkeepers were very bad in this game, and we had 2 of the best goalkeeper in this series, and both of them really struggle. And in fact, goalkeeping is going to be something that I will also talk about when we talk about this game too. But you know, both goalkeepers look really kind of nervous, and you know, I think maybe that also kind of contribute the fact that there was so many goals scored in this game. But you know, I think going back to this play, you could kind of argue that Brooks Lennon shouldn't have just gave the ball straight to Shaarawy, or that Rimaldo should have just come out earlier to try to kick that ball away and not letting Brooks Lennon in a very tough spot where Shaarawy was like breathing down his neck, and eventually Shaarawy won that ball on none other than the press, which is something that was the downfall of RSL in this game. But at the end of all of this, you know, Sporting KC are moving on, and I'm pretty sure Peter Vermes is not going to be happy with this game, but I think at the same time he'll be happy that at least his team is not going to be suffering what it has happened in the last couple of Sporting KC team in the past, which is just get knocked out after the first game or the first series of the playoffs. And as for RSL, you know, I know this is obviously disappointing for them, but at the same time, you got to give a lot of credit for RSL for this, and you got to give a lot of credit to Mike Pecky in terms of the way that he managed this game. I really think that despite the fact that Peter Vermees was the victorious manager in this game, I think Mike Pecky actually outmanaged Peter Vermees in this one, because Vermees, he also kind of mismanaged after they were up 3-1, and he also made a bizarre substitution by subbing out Johnny Russell, who has been one of their best attacker, and he also decided to leave Ilie in, which, you know, if you ask any Sporting KC fan, that probably is not a good idea to just leave Ilie in for the entire 90 minutes. And I thought Mike Pecky bringing on Saucedo has definitely made a huge impact for this team, and, you know, unfortunately they just come up short. They just kind of got a little bit unlucky, and also they just kind of got out quality by a team that certainly has more quality than they have. And, you know, certainly I think for RSL, I know I said this last year about how, you know, well, I didn't do a video last year about RSL exiting, getting eliminated on the final day of the season and missing the playoffs, and how, you know, when you look at what happened this season, it hasn't been a perfect season. But I think there's something to be built on for this team. This team is a very kind of young team and have a lot of homegrown kind of player, and I think RSL would definitely get much better next season. Although I kind of said the same thing last season too, and it did not go well though. But either way, moving on into the next match, and moving on to a much kind of straightforward kind of match, and kind of a result that I'm pretty sure a lot of people were expecting, which is Atlanta winning 3-1 against NYCFC. Joseph Martinez, of course, scoring the first goal on a penalty kick, and then Almiron with a beautiful free kick in the 42nd minute. Chanel did get one back for NYCFC to give them a little bit hope heading into the second half. And, you know, NYCFC was absolutely poor in the first half. I mean, the second half, they definitely got a little bit better, but the first half, it was just all Atlanta. It was a one-way traffic. Atlanta dictated the pace and had more of the opportunity, and NYCFC just had no clue what they were actually doing. It's almost as if they pretty much just give up in the first half. Now, to be fair, the second half, they definitely did sort of play a little bit better, and they have a couple of decent chances in the second half to potentially maybe get another goal to get a little bit closer in terms of the aggregate score. But unfortunately, as it was the story last time when both of these teams faced off each other in the first leg, of how NYCFC just couldn't take advantage of those chances that they need to put away, it was the case once again in the second leg. They just could not put those chances away in the second half. And mostly, I think you also got to say Brett Guzan had a very good kind of game, and he's actually one of the few goalkeepers that actually had a very decent game in terms of these conference semi-final that we had on Sunday. And then, you know, Atlanta, although they kind of did struggle a little bit in the second half and got a little bit sloppy, eventually they picked it up, and when Martinez scored that goal in the 83rd minute, yeah, that was game over pretty much. You might as well just turn off the TV. And I will admit that after Martinez scored this goal, I pretty much just shut the TV off in this game and start watching this one, because, you know, both of these games actually kicks off only a couple of minutes apart from each other, because I knew that Atlanta has won this, and that there's just no chance NYCFC was going to go through. And, you know, just come at me, Atlanta fans. Come at me in the comment section of just roast me about how what I just said back in my prediction of how they are not going to make it through to the next round, because NYCFC certainly have shown a little bit of momentum heading into the playoffs. Yeah, just come at me, okay? I deserve to get roast by that. And to be fair, I think the big reason why I kind of got this one wrong is mainly of what happened with Almiron. And I thought Almiron in this series was absolutely spectacular. and I definitely did not expect him to be this spectacular just coming back from a hamstring injury, but he looked absolutely amazing, and he didn't actually play the full 90 minutes in this game. He played the full 80 minutes of this game, so he got 20 more minutes than he did in the first leg, and he's just going to get much better as we head into the playoffs. So again, Atlanta fans, you can just roast me in the playoffs, and I deserve that after what I kind of said back in the prediction video and what I put in the comments section below. But moving on to the other New York club that, unlike NYCFC, who got eliminated from the playoff, the other New York club, the Red Bulls, got their job done against the Columbus Crew. And unlike the previous two games, where I really thought these previous two games was playing at a pace that was just incredibly fast. Like, it was just, there was so many chances in these games. Well, mostly one team had so many chances and had a chance to put a crooked number in the scoreboard and just play with a very fast pace. This one wasn't kind of like that. It was kind of a little bit more slower pace. You know, Alex Muriel did get a goal early for the Red Bulls, and this was really crucial for the Red Bulls because, you know, there was a lot of question coming into this game of how in the world are they going to be able to break down this Columbus team. And knowing that what we saw from Columbus last week and how Columbus did a very good job in terms of bypassing this Red Bulls press and making hard for the Red Bulls to try to break down. Well, in this game, it kind of was sort of the opposite of what we saw in that first leg. Columbus had a lot of trouble trying to break down the press. And what's interesting about the Crew and what's interesting about what Greg Berhalter said in the pregame is that he said that he is planning to have possession in this game. He's planning to not just sit back and just hopefully control the game and have possession and really make the Red Bulls kind of work for it. Well, it definitely did not kind of gone to plan in this one, and I guess the players definitely did not get the memo in this game because they did not have that possession. In fact, they were very sloppy out of the back. The defense that has just been very rock solid this year just kind of gone completely just wasted in this one. Well, I wouldn't say wasted is a way to say it, but it wasn't very good. Okay, it wasn't as good as what we've seen with the past Columbus Crew team. And even Zach Steffen had an off night tonight. And I know a lot of people right now on Twitter are ridiculing Zach Steffen in terms of his performance, and they're saying that he did not deserve the Goalkeeper of the Year award. And although, yes, I get that he has an off night in this game, and that was really the ultimate reason why, well, one of the ultimate reason why Columbus lost this game and lost this series to the Red Bulls. You know, I think it's a little bit too harsh to just say that Zach Steffen, because he had one bad game, that is the reason why he is not going to be the Goalkeeper of the Year. I mean, he's been just spectacular throughout this year. And I think people forget that he was huge in that first leg. I mean, I feel like after what we saw from Zach Steffen in this performance, people almost forget that he made that crucial save right around stoppage time when BWP got a free header. And, you know, at that time, it looked like that was a crucial moment. Obviously, now it isn't because the Red Bulls have won it. But you also got to look at that some of the things that he done in the playoffs, and also how did Columbus get a matchup with the Red Bulls, with him once again saving those penalties against DC United in the knockout round. So I really think it's a little bit too harsh to say that he does not deserve the Goalkeeper of the Year award just because of this one bad kind of performance. I think throughout the year he's been just consistently proven that he's the best goalkeeper of the year, and I have no concern of him being the number one job for the U.S. men's national team. I mean, this performance is not going to change my mind that he should not be the U.S. men's national team first team kind of goalkeeper, and goalkeepers usually have an off night, and that's what happened to Zach Steffen in this game. But I think the overall story of this game was Danny Royer, of course, scoring a brace. I thought both teams really kind of played very conservatively after Alex Muyl scored that goal in the 17th minute, and I think the reason why they decided to do that is because the Red Bulls don't want to concede a goal to Columbus, where they could be finding in a situation where they need to score 2 goals to potentially move on into the next round, because Columbus, if they get that away goal, they would now move on into the next round with a better aggregates. And even if the Red Bulls does get that second goal, the Red Bulls would have still lost it on away goals, as Columbus did get that away goal and the Red Bulls didn't. And Columbus don't want to be too aggressive because they want to just hold this at 1-0. And they weren't really creating much throughout this game. Higuain was pretty quiet in this game. Same with Jerzy Zardes in this game. So in some way, they know that since they can't really do much going forward on the attack, we'll just probably hope that we can force this to extra time and even go to penalties. And that's when the matchup will favor Columbus, because not only Columbus has a good goalkeeper, that is Zach Steffen, but the Red Bulls have just been really bad in terms of taking penalties. Probably the worst team in terms of taking penalties. But eventually Danny Royer did breach that wall that Columbus had in terms of that defense, and the second goal that he scored, that was actually not just, he shouldn't just be getting credit for this goal that he scored in the 73rd minute. There should be a lot of credit to all those players that basically developed this goal that happened in the 73rd minute. I mean, there was like, what, 5 or 6 kind of passes that led to Royer basically putting the ball into the back of the net. And it all started with Tyler Adams in terms of the start of the development of the play. So I think you got to say that this goal by Royer, it should be, this 73rd minute should say team goal instead of just Royer scoring the one. And then, of course, the goal that he scored in the 76th minute, yeah, that was basically him. He did a very good job trying to get away with a couple of Columbus defenders and basically hit that one toward goal and hitting into the back of the net. And that is also when we also talk about how Zach Steffen probably should have saved that, because Royer basically just hit it straight to Zach Steffen, and you would think that Zach Steffen should have saved that if that one is hit straight toward him, but he didn't. And in the end, the Red Bulls are moving on, and Columbus, of course, are going home. And certainly now, you wonder for Columbus, their future is kind of definitely very bleak, because they know that Greg Berhalter might be leaving this team, and I'm pretty sure now there is no excuse for the U.S. men's national team to delay the announcement of the managerial role, because now with Columbus eliminated and Greg Berhalter available, they should definitely announce that as soon as tomorrow. But either way, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash that subscribe button, and yeah, I will see you guys next time. And also, since we have the international break, and since that is going to be next week and we won't have MLS action until 2 weeks from now, it is pretty much a good time for me to do some moving forward series, and I'm going to do it a little bit different in terms of the format when I do the moving forward series. And I'm going to cover the 8 teams that got eliminated from the playoffs, and I'll start with the Union because they were the first team to be knocked out in the playoffs, and then so on and so forth in the next couple of weeks. So there's not going to be no video about MLS in the international break, and I might even talk a little bit about that England versus USA matchup, because yeah, that is a very interesting matchup for me, because I'm also an England fan. Okay, so this gets a little bit weird of who the heck do I even root for? Do I want to root for the US to potentially get a win in a meaningless friendly, or do I want to root for England to to win in a meaningless friendly. And also, so that is the game that Wayne Rooney will be appearing for the final time for the English national team. And yeah, that's definitely going to be something very special. But yeah, I might do a preview or review on that if I have time. But certainly the first priority for me doing this time of the international break until when we get to the conference final in 2 week time is that I'm going to do these moving forward series, and I'm just going to knock them out of the way doing this break. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.